We're going to be working on translations today. We're working with a coordinate plane, and a translation is a kind of transformation. And what a transformation does is it maps one figure on a coordinate plane to a new location or onto another part of the coordinate plane. When you move the figure without turning it, in other words, if you slide it across the coordinate plane without turning it around, it's called a translation. So the figure stays in the same orientation up and down, and you just slide it around the page. So a translated figure is congruent to the original. And if you recall, congruent means that it is equal. It's the same size, same shape. So in this case, we're talking about the figure remains the same size and same shape. Okay? Now when we're translating a figure, every point of the original figure is moved the same distance in the same direction. So if I have a coordinate plane and I have a square, or let's call it a triangle here, that'll be a better example. If I have this triangle here and I want to slide the triangle down to this quadrant, and remember our quadrants go 1, 2, 3, 4 in the shape of a C. If I want to slide this triangle from quadrant 1 to quadrant 4, I'm going to be able to map it by saying, okay, every single point on this triangle is going to go 7 over and 7 down. And if every single point goes 7 over and 7 down, then I'm going to have the exact same triangle in a different quadrant. Okay? That is a translation. All right, so here we have two triangles. You can see that this one is ABC, and this one that has the little tiny mark after it, that's called A prime. So here we have ABC, and the letters with the prime after them are always the new triangle. So A prime, B prime, C prime. So in this particular picture, we know that this was the original triangle, ABC here, and A prime, B prime, C prime is the new triangle after it has been translated. In this problem, below triangle ABC has the vertices of point A is at -4, -2. So if you look at your coordinate plane, remember that 0, or the origin, is in the exact center. So this is 0, 0 right here in the exact center. So on the x-axis, to the right is positive, to the left is negative. Okay, positive over here, negative over there. And on the y-axis, up is positive and down is negative. Okay, so we're looking at -4, -2. The x-coordinate always goes first. So -4 on the x-axis, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then -2 on the y-axis is down 2, and that would give me my point A. Point B is at -2, 0. We start at in the 0, 0 spot again. Point B is on the x-axis at -2, and then on the y-axis at 0. So there's where it is right here. And C is at -1, -3. Okay? So whenever you're looking at your points on your coordinate plane, you have x and y coordinates. And the x coordinate always comes first, just like in the alphabet, x, y, z. The x coordinate always comes first, and the y coordinate always comes second. And these are called ordered pairs here. So this right here is called an ordered pair. And it's always in the form of x, comma, y. Okay, so when we are translating, our vertices or our corners, vertices and corners are kind of the same thing, of triangle ABC are going to get translated. Now, since to the right is positive on the x-axis, we could also call that addition because the plus sign also represents addition. And to the left on the x-axis is negative, we could also call that subtraction. Same thing with y, positive going up or addition going up. and negative going down. So if we want to translate this triangle 5 units right and 2 units up. 5 units right, going to the right is positive or addition. So we're going to add 5 to all of our x-coordinates. And then 2 units up is positive on the y-axis, so we're going to add 2 to all of our x-coordinates. And that's why this says right here x plus 5 and y plus 2. So we're going plus 5 on the x-axis and plus 2 on the y-axis when we go 5 units right and 2 units up. So what we're going to do is we're going to add 5 to the negative 4. Negative 4 plus 5 is a positive 1. And then negative 2 plus 2 is 0. So I'm taking these this set of ordered pairs that's here for the vertices of and corners, we'd call that, for triangle ABC. And I'm going to add 5 and 2 to every x-coordinate and y-coordinate. So I could go down through here. All my x-coordinates get 5 added. Negative 4 plus 5 for going right will be 1. Negative 2 plus 5 is a positive 3. Negative 1 plus 5 is a positive 4. And for all my y-coordinates, I'm going to take and add 2. So negative 2 plus 2 is 0. 0 plus 2 is 2. Negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1. So now if I map these new coordinates, I should be able to see where my new triangle is. And that new triangle gets the little prime letters on it. So here, what I'm going to do to show you this is moving to the right is a positive 5. So this would be negative 4 plus 5. Negative 2 plus 5. See, I'm filling in the x, negative 1, and then the plus 5. And then for the y, it's plus 2. So this is negative 2 plus 2, 0 plus 2, negative 3 plus 2. And then I come back over here and change that into my vertices for a prime, b prime, c prime. And that negative 4 plus 5 is 1. Negative 2 plus 2 is 0. Negative 2 plus 5 is 3. 0 plus 2 is 2. Negative 1 plus 5 is 4. Negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1. Okay? Now, point A on my new triangle should be at 1 comma 0. So when I go over to 0 here, I'm going to go, this is the x-axis and the y-axis. I'm going to go to 1 on the x-axis, which is here, and 0 on the y-axis, which is still there. So that's my A prime point. B is at 1, 2, 3 positive, and then 1, 2 positive on the y-axis. And letter C should be at 4 positive on the x-axis and negative 1 positive on the y-axis. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then negative 1 for C prime. All right, let's take a look at another one. We're going to go 1 unit left and 5 units down for this triangle, which is GHI. So our new triangle will be called G prime, H prime, I prime. And remember that moving left on the x-axis goes into the negative numbers. So we're going to subtract 1 here to move left, x minus 1. And moving down is negative on the y-axis, so we're going to subtract 5 units from each of our y-coordinates. So looking at letter G here, if we start at 0, 0, letter G is still at 0 on the x-axis. This would be 1 and negative 1. So it's still at 0. And then it's on the y-axis 1 up, so that's positive 1, 0, 1. H is at positive 1 on the x-axis, and then positive 3 on the y-axis. And I is at positive 3, 1, 2, 3 on the x-axis, and 1 up on the y-axis, so that's a positive 1. So here's my original coordinates. Now I am going to translate them. So I'm going to subtract 1 from every x-coordinate. So this is going to be 0 minus 1, 1 minus 1, and 3 minus 1. That's going to move me 1 unit left for the x-axis. Now the y-axis, I want to go 5 units down, so that's subtracting 5 from my original coordinates. So this will be 1 minus 5, 3 minus 5, and another 1 minus 5. Now I can turn that into my new coordinates for my new triangle. 0 minus 1 is negative 1, and 1 minus 5 is negative 4. 1 minus 1 is 0. 3 minus 5 is negative 2. 3 minus 1 is 2. 1 minus 5 is negative 4. And graph the new triangle. So I have negative 1, negative 4. On the x-axis going left is negative. Here's negative 1, and then down, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. And this is going to be my G prime location with that little mark, that prime mark. H will be at 0, so I stay at 0, and then negative 2 on the y-axis. So this is my H prime. And then make that a little closer to my H. And then I prime is going to be at positive 2, negative 4. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's always left and right. It's always run before you rise. Okay, so then here's my new triangle. If I had a straight edge, I could draw that better. I don't. You need to use a straight edge. Okay, so here's my new triangle. It is 1 unit left and 5 units down from the original. Okay, I'm going to let you translate triangle LMNO, or I'm sorry, rectangle LMNO, 4 units right and 3 units up. So remember that X comes first, and we're going to go 4 units right, and going right on the number line is positive, so we're going to add 4 to every X coordinate. And then up on the Y coordinate is also positive, so we're going to add 3 to every Y coordinate. I'm going to let you go ahead and translate that on your own. Let's talk about finding A prime if the original A is at negative 8, 4. It's translating 2 units right, which is adding 2 to the x-axis, and 3 units down, which is subtracting 3 from the y-axis. Okay, what does 2 units right mean in terms of the x-coordinate? It means that we are adding 2. Okay, what does 3 units down mean in terms of the y-coordinate? It means we're subtracting 3. And A prime is going to be at negative 6, 1. So we're taking our original coordinates, which is the original A. Negative 8 plus 2 is negative 6. 4 minus 3 is 1. For this one, letter B, you are translating 5 units left and 4 units up. I want you to find the new coordinates. Okay, and then we're talking about coordinates of a point. We're looking at the original letter B and B prime, and we're going to try and figure out what happened. How did it translate? What happened to the x coordinate? What happened to the y coordinate? So looking at these two, what happened to the x coordinate? It went from 6 to 5. So we subtracted 1 from the x coordinate. That was x minus 1. And remember, subtracting is moving left to right. And in this case, it is left. So this went left, 1. And then for the y coordinate, we went from 3 to 8, so it was y plus 5. And plus 5 means up, so we went up 5. Okay, so x coordinate, move that off to the side. Oh, it doesn't want to do the whole blinder. Okay, that's fine. Went 1 unit left, and that was x minus 1. The y coordinate, 5 units up, and that was y plus 5. Okay, so the key word for remembering translation is a slide across the page. The figure does not turn, it doesn't flip over, it just slides across the page. And we're going to talk more about this.